Alright, blue-black Kefnet. People have been asking me what are the decks that I like that I think are competitive in this format, and this is definitely one of them. This is one of the couple of decks that I'm considering playing in the Mythic Championship qualifier at the end of the month. It's just kind of like blue-black mid-range constructed playable cards. 4 Erasure, 4 Thief, some Enter the God-Eternals, some Ugin, the Ineffitables. We got a couple of Kefnets that are a good blocker alongside some Chemister Insights and some Commence the End games to give him some reasonably powerful things to draw copies of once he's in play. The sideboard is a smattering of various good blue-black cards. There's a couple of Lilianas in here as an extra piece of top end. A third Enter the God-Eternals for the red aggressive matchups. A couple of Spyglass for shutting off Azcanta and opposing Teferi's. So, like a lot of what this deck is doing, it felt very reasonable last time we played it. Let's hop on into some matches here. We are currently 2 match wins away from Mythic, so hopefully this will be able to pull us up into there today as the last deck of the day. I think I'm going to do this as the last deck of the day. I think I'm gonna spend a little bit of extra time on this one, probably play this one for 2 hours or more if it's feeling good, just to get a feel for it. And we'll push Bant Box back to tomorrow. Yeah, this might be 1 or 2 cards different from the list on my website. I don't remember exactly. I think the third Enter the God-Eternals in the sideboard is a new addition, if I recall correctly. So they have 3, 6, 7, 8 permanents in play right now. They're guaranteed. I definitely had Ritual of Soot last time we played this. They're getting 2 more permanents guaranteed next turn. Or at least 1 more. They probably have another one in their hand. I don't think I'm going to be able to stop these Snubhorn Sentries from popping off, which sucks. I have 2 Rituals in my main deck. I could just Narset and start impulsing for Ritual. I don't hate that.
If you wish to now, meditate and prepare.
She like gains 3 and digs for a sweeper here. This does let them flip the Legion's Landing guaranteed, but yes, they were gonna guaranteed hit the Snubhorn Sentries regardless. So I'm gonna take 5 down to 16 here, and if we hit a Ritual Soot, we're in a very good spot, obviously. Which is why we have a 3rd in the board. I feel like I made relatively decent decisions this game. Gave myself a good chance to win. So next turn, they're attacking for 8, 16 exactly. So that's a little unfortunate because it means I can't just Chemister's Insight and try and dig for the Ritual. But I guess the flip side of that, too, is I get to Moment of Craving this, which wouldn't die to the Ritual anyways. Oh, yeah, this hits for more. That's true. Now, I think, even though Ritual of Soot is still my out here anyways, I want to go ahead and kill this threat just to keep my health total a little bit higher. So that way, if I hit the Ritual, I don't accidentally die to the Andante first 4 tokens, basically. So we're 2 and 45 to maybe clean up here. If I Contempt here, I go to 9. If I Contempt here, I go to 9, and I'm taking 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9 exactly. Right? 5, 6, 7, 8, and then this is 9. If they miss making first 4 token, we can live, but I counted the Adanto chat. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because the city's blessing is a static effect that doesn't get removed when you get less than 10 permanents. Once you hit the blessing, you are forever blessed. And like, obviously there's no guarantee we get to the Ritual of Soot next turn anyways, right? Like we're playing to that out. By no means are we guaranteed to hit it. Trim some of our beefier top end here. Is Thief of Sanity a cut? I think it is. What do we think of this? That seems pretty reasonable. So, Chemister's Insight isn't amazing in this matchup, but one of the things that you need to understand is that the aggressive decks have a lot less lands than we do, which means if we 1-for-1 the opponent a whole lot, at the end of it all, my opponent is going to end up having more spells than we do, so you need cards like Chemister's Insight to stay in your deck, so you can make up for the fact that you're bound to flood when they're not. No, if they had the spell that gave them Indestructible, I was dead anyway. Sunshine, they would have just cast it during their main phase and killed us. So it's like irrelevant. Is this keepable? Field of Ruin is like a slow island. Kind of hard to pass up Moment of Craving on too. The Field of Ruin might also be able to cut them off of blue mana. I guess something to think about is there's no guarantee that they're going to play a non-basic land. Kefnet's a bro. I hear the people in chat talking about Liliana versus Ugin, and I agree with your assessment. She goes to a higher loyalty to start, and her down tick can kill 2 things, which, generally speaking, killing any 2 things on their board is probably good enough. So, I like the idea that this is better than this in this matchup. I agree with that. I think I'm happy with the rest of how I sideboarded, though. Alright. So, one of the important differences between Liliana's -4 and Priest of the Forgotten Gods is where the colon on the card is relevant. So text that is before the colon on a magic card is part of the activation cost to put that card on the stack, whereas text after the colon is part of the effect resolving. So if you look on Priest, the sacrificing the creatures is before the colon, and on Liliana, it's after the colon. And that's a very important distinction. Alright, that wasn't the second black source that I wanted for Christmas, but it's still pretty good here. In fact, I think I'm gonna, because they're a little bit behind, I'm gonna use my health total as a touch of a resource here. And I'm gonna go ahead and Chemister's Insight this turn, trying to find my second black. Well, I found my second black. Ding, ding, ding. God bless.
Proud to fight by your side. Heal.
That's unfortunate. No, Gengar. The deck lists up there are always updated. They're not like, don't think about those pages like a random top 8. Those pages are living pages that are kept constantly up to date. I think we're dead here. Hey, Akuma, thanks for the $5 tip. I appreciate that. I think Laziv has a place in here. I don't think so. Do not think that card is good. I think it's worse than just having a removal spell. Must be a lot of upkeep for the deck list. Not really. A lot of people think that getting the latest deck list is this big novel thing that you're constantly chasing, and it's really not. Deck lists really don't change that often. Can't you just look at the deck list and compare, Gengar? Oh, that was the best draw in my deck. I was like, man, we're dead. No, we're not. I'm gonna mill myself here because we get another Chemister's Insight. The deck has a sweet, fun idea, but it's not particularly competitive. DK Clarity. Alright. I think we're bridging the gap here. I think I want to plus her rather than down tick because my opponent can make another Adanto token.
Effective.
Yeah, she's gonna draw us a lot of cards. I agree. That was a good suggestion. Yeah, Ugin is a great enchantment removal card. Blast Zone is also decent.
Waste not, want not.
So it's a decent rip for sure. Oh, that's a Vraska's Contempt. Things are coming up Millhouse, boys and girls. Yeah, Liliana keeps pace with Adanto first for it. I'm hesitant to say we're fully into garbage time. I feel like I need like a Kefnet or like an Ugin or a Chemister's Insight to fully put us into garbage time, but we are definitely solidly ahead here at this point. No, I don't want a plus first to draw the card because they have an Adonto first for it. Like, this is a Loxodon here. Yep. This is the type of series that can get them back in if I brick off. Alright, that is not a brick. Alright. Felt pretty good. It might, honestly, it might not be unreasonable to play 4 Enter the God-Eternals. Yeah, I played the Dredge in the unranked queue. I knew how that deck was going to go. It's not good.
Before action. My prowess is unmatched by my peers. I have reached my limit. Keep an open mind.
Rad for life, thank you for the 2-3 sub. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, if we win this match, we're mythic. That game was a pretty classic example of wrong half problem there. We had a bunch of cards that were good against aggro, and they just weren't going to play against the control deck. It's just kind of how it works sometimes, right? When you're playing these fair interactive mid-range decks, there are going to be a percentage of games where you keep a hand that's good against one range of things and you're playing against something else and vice versa. And you're just going to basically lose because of it. Just kind of how it goes. It's actually one of the reasons why I like the Sultai Flash deck, is because it has fewer of those draws, because the cards that it plays tend to be a little bit more flexible. Yeah, Hex was great. I agree. That was one of the best things about Hex. It allowed for games to be more skill-based more often. Can I explain why I quit that game when I did? Yeah, I had 4 cards in my hand that basically had no text against my opponent's largely creatureless deck, and my opponent was going to play a Planeswalker next turn that was going to accrue an insane amount of card advantage every single turn. It felt like I was incredibly unlikely to win the game from there. A couple decisions here. I think I just want a Thought Erasure. Thought Erasure, so like Thought Erasure isn't mana efficient, but it gives me a better chance to hit a land next turn. I think I take the Narset there. Like I could definitely get punished for that. Like if I miss the land and then the Thief of Sanity hits me. And like the way this worked out, I would have been better off playing my Thief on 3, but I can't know that it's gonna work out that way. How do I feel like gambling? What if I do this? They're gonna like draw a Doomblade and I'm gonna cry. I think Path Deck Dial could have been reprinted as standard legal set. Nope. I think that card's much better off in non-rotating formats. That's probably a little greedy on my part. Wow, whatever card they took there is better than Liliana Deathward General, so probably super dead. I didn't put Kefnet back in my deck because my opponent was about to play hit me with a Thief of Sanity. So that seemed like an aggressively mediocre decision.
All of the multiverse will bend to my no.
Are bound by threads of time.
We exploit ripples of time. Be mindful.
I expect to lose to Grixis with a deck like this. Grixis basically has bad matchups against every good deck in the format, so like, it lines up well against all these control decks. That's not true. It's good against Esper control. Grixis is basically the king of the go bigger decks. Between Nick and Thought Erasure and Thief of Sanity, the other decks that are trying to be interactive just get beat up by it. Is Grixis... No, Sultai was very good in general. Sultai was good against a variety of things. Ooh, they're playing Jeskai Saheeli. I guess I take this. I'm gonna keep my land there. I'm gonna play this. They're gonna play Teferi and Downtick. I'll replay it and then maybe hit them. The opponent's deck is one of the many decks that you will find on my website, jeffhoagland.com. Lots of fantastic Planeswalker-based decks up there. See if they can find a Lava Coil or another Shock here or not. If they have a land, they can Narset into a Shock here. If they take my Thief out of play here, I'm going to be in a bit of trouble. Because my hand, again, just like talking about that virtual card disadvantage you gain by playing a deck like this in these matchups. My Moment of Craving just don't have text here. I found a Lightning Strike, yep. Oh, geez, they have Mox Amber. Maybe this won't be the last deck of the day, and we'll die a bunch, and then we'll play Bampbox. And this is why when people often ask me, like, what do you like in the format? My question is, I don't really know. Because, like, we only played this deck once, right? And it was fun, and it felt powerful when I played it, but the bigger your sample size gets, the more data points I have to work with to, like, go, oh, this deck isn't actually good, we ran good, or we ran bad, etc. And, like, obviously, we're only 3 matches in, but I wouldn't be surprised if this deck has a bad random jank matchup. Random other bigger things matchup. Because our deck is trying to respect the aggressive decks by playing things like Moment of Craving and Enter the God-Eternal and Ritual of Soot, which means decks that don't respect aggro have more cards that are good against midrange and control decks like what we're playing. So like Grixis and like what the opponent's playing. So we're going to struggle with them because we're trying to not die to aggro. Stupid desk. Sure. That's not true. We played that deck like over the course of a month, and by the fifth league, I was off it. That was the best draw in my deck. Correct. Yeah, I agree. There is a large number of players that comes in like that's in tournaments too, right? Like in my experience playing lots of Magic, the people who complain the loudest about the aggressive decks also tend to be the people who refuse to put cards that are good against aggro decks in their deck. People will be like, well, people will be like, mono red's unfair. And like, what are you playing? You like look at their deck and like their curve starts at 3. It's like, oh yeah, I bet Basic Mountain's really good against your pile of poop. If you put cards that did stuff in your deck, the mono red deck would be less scary.
Mind and thought meditate and prepare.
One of the nice things about playing a deck like this is that post board, we likely get better than the opponent gets.
Join my cause.
Wow! Wow! Nice! Nice, Planeswalker. Nice. Nice, Planeswalker activation. Oh, that's great. For those that missed it, Narset says they can't draw more than 1 card per turn, but they still have to discard. So they activated her and discarded a card. Slythe, thanks for the 16-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around.
Focus on what matters.
Now, one thing I might have done incorrectly is I boarded out my Ritual of Soots, which might be wrong in the face of... Saheeli that my opponent had. Maybe. Yeah, they put it in Legion War Boss too. Yeah, I'm definitely sideboarded incorrectly. Yeah, it cleans up Sarkhan Dragons as well. Her alt text is being super relevant here. I have to pay 2 extra to destroy their creatures. So I can't hold Negate up here since I missed a land drop. We'll include this game in my autobiography 26 lands later. This is my 4/5. Please let it be good enough. I suppose I also could have played Thief of Sanity, but, like, I'm at 10 life, so...
You'll thank me later. Nothing.
I train every day. No one is more prepared
That's
than
how
me.
the cookie crumbles. Need more Elder Spells, right? Yeah, Baby Tef is really good. I'm mulliganing that first hand because we queued into Zach, so I'm assuming removal spells aren't going to be good. Yikes, I assumed wrong. He's laddering with good cards. Alright, well, this hand's still decent. Oh no! Mobilized District and a bunch of Planeswalkers, eh? Oh, they don't have red mana. Alright, well, let's take that one. Looking for blue mana ourselves. Perfect.
I have practiced against kinetic thoughtfulness before action.
Narset's so good. Why are you so good, Narset?
Just wait a moment. Keep an open mind.
Down to red mana.
Play nice, please. My assistants are painfully sloppy.
I think I just kill these and then have Kefnet kill Tibalt here.
New tortures are needed.
Kefnet's really good against these green-red decks. He's just so beefy. What do I want to trim here? Moment's probably not actually that good. They tend to have a lot of bigger creatures. How do you feel about Liliana versus Ugin? I like that Ugin downticks to kill their planeswalkers, I think. Commence the endgame is probably unnecessary. This amount of top end is probably more than sufficient. Is Narset not ideal? I could bring in Spyglasses to turn off their planeswalkers. It doesn't turn off their static effect, but it turns off their abilities. So, like, turning off Sarkhan proactively is probably not unreasonable. I could see Spyglass being better than the Narset here. I can turn off Mobilized District. Yeah, let's bring in the Spyglasses. Zach's probably on, like, 4 Mobilized District, knowing how he talks about the card. Yeah, I agree. The stat lines on Kefnet, I think, are very intentional to allow him to dodge specific things. I just can't keep this right. Alright. Maybe I'm supposed to bottom that, just like digging for a cheap interaction. Well, we start slow. It's good for us. It's a good 4-drop. Maybe because they're Planeswalker based, they're a little bit less aggressive. It's a good rip. So, really want to draw an untapped land here in our next 2 draw steps. Get a good clean 1-for-1 here, which is nice. If we hit a land next turn, we get to enter the God-Eternals this. If we don't hit a land, we're hoping they play another thing that dies to Ritual of Soot. Well, I mean, that technically qualifies as something that dies to Ritual of Soot, right? Would really like a land here. You always want to enter the God-Eternals on yourself because there's 4 copies of Chemister's Insight in our deck. How deep am I into this deck and how long am I going to play it? We've been playing for about half an hour, and I'm not sure exactly how long I intend to play for. Wow, that's hot. Wow, that is incredibly hot.
I'm running out of room to store my trophies.
That is a spicy meatball. That's slick. I think I'm happy with how I boarded. Death Touch creatures with the Domri Ambush card, I think it's called. This card's really good in this matchup, and this card can shut off a couple other things, so I think that's fine. Dark Magi, thank you for the 2 years of support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I'm gonna name Domri here because I'd prefer they don't get to use him to ramp. Sarkin the Masterless. Alright, let's draw lands for the next 2 to 3 turns, please.
You call it anarchy. For me, it's just another day.
You and I are gonna take them out. This is just gonna be bad for you.
It's fine. That's way better than missing.
What's that smell? Oh, it's you burning.
I don't know. I might have entered my own thing there, Bob.
People call me a death dealer, but I rarely offer discounts.
I think I'd rather Kefnet kill Vraska here than kill Chandra. It gives them one more draw, but the Death Touch token is really annoying.
Oh, I was getting bored anyway.
Kefnet's great. I think this is my second. This or Orchestra, I think, are my favorite God-Eternals.
Let's light it up.
I agree. I think this card's super powerful. I think most black midrange or control decks want to play some number of this. It kills Gideon and Rekindling Phoenix are the notables. Oh, mobilize districts of 4/3 because of Domri. Yep.
It's over when I say it's over.
Yeah, Green Red just doesn't have the tools to deal with a beefer past running us down. Alright, 2 and 2. The Spyglass is worth. The Spyglass is very good right now. Very, very good. Enter the God-Eternals is also an absurd magic card. Part of me wonders if I want to cut these commence the end games and just like go to a third enter and a fourth Chemister's Insight in the main. because both of those cards are good with Kefnet, and God Eternals is good with Chemister's Insight because you can mill yourself into the Insight. I think that's fine. I think unless you're in danger of decking, you should basically always be milling yourself, unless you're, like, burying a god off of their deck. Huh? I think I want to make my land drops here. I'm not a huge fan of Opt in this format. The aggressive decks, like, can get under you pretty solidly. You just don't have time to, like, mess around with spending mana like that. And, like, the chance of, like, could you imagine if this was, like, this would be better as both Chemisters or Enter the God Eternals here, right? The upside of, like, making your Kefnet better is, like, bad. Like, playing Opt in this deck, I feel like, is playing to make your good cards better when, like, they're already fine. I'd rather just, like, play more lands. The Dredge deck was terrible. But I also wasn't expecting it to be good, so, like, mission accomplished, I guess. Maybe I should have taken Shalai here with that Thought Erasure. That might have been better, huh? If I took Shalai with the Thought Erasure, I then could have Tyrant scorned this. It would have gotten a little bit bigger from the Jade Light. Ritual of Soot when? I think we're dead. Because I can, like, kill this, but we're just dead on board. Yeah, if that commenced the end game, it'd been an Enter the God Eternals. We'd have, like, killed their Shalai and had a big token to stabilize with. Things to think about. Been boarding this out against everywhere that's not control anyways, so it seems like a pretty natural thing to slide out of the deck. Is Narset my trim here? I feel like Narset's my trim. I have a hard time defending her. She's mostly good in matchups where they're not playing to the board. The upside to getting, like, another Chemister's Insight into my main deck, too, is we've talked a little bit about the wrong half problem that these decks can have. A card like Chemister's Insight actually helps us fix our wrong half problem to a degree, because it's an effect that lets us, like, discard a Moment's Craving in a control matchup and, like, turn it into 2 cards, which can be valuable. Sand needs some lands, but we're playing 26 of them, and we've got Thought Erasure to surveil. Get this ugly swamp out of my otherwise all foil hand, and we'll be good to go here. Please, let me play the ugly swamp. Have a bit of a connection issue here or something. That is a great draw. Hopefully we're surveil into a third land. Yeah, I prefer this deck to decks like this to ones like Esper Control on average, because like Thief of Sanity at least generates some free wins for you on occasion. So I bricked off, opponent hit the perfect, you know, magic. Alright, so they have another land here. So I assume we're gonna see Crisis for 2 here. If this isn't a land, it was super wrong to leave that on top. Yeah, that makes sense. Looking at another untapped land here so we can contempt this and hit them. Alright, that'll do, pig. Alright, I would like a land war elves, please. As you will. Untapped land. Come on. Come on. We'd have hit the untapped land there. I guess I should have hit them. That card does not have reach. I should have hit them. That card does not have reach. Just a little frustrated with the variance in Magic, and I want to cut these commences for something else. If we would have hit the land there, we could have contempted it and then taken it out of their deck, and that would have been very nice. Unfortunately, Magic's a game where sometimes you just don't get to play. Not 100% sure on these Narsets in my main deck either. Yeah, if only you could play lands off of Thief, right? I have a third Soot in my side. Don't be rude, zombie. So one of the things I want to break people of is like this idea that very specific decks have these absurd win rates. They really don't. If you go look at any of the decks, nobody out there playing Esper Control is suddenly winning 100% of their matchups. I think this deck is very reasonable. I think this deck is very competitive. And like, if you watch that last match there where we like miss our third land and come to the conclusion that that means this deck's not competitive and can't get you to Mythic, you probably aren't very geared for like playing Magic and like learning about the game. Like, it's again, like, that's why we focus on, like, it's okay to just be like, yeah, there's just nothing I could do there and we died. Like, it doesn't matter if you're playing the best deck in the format, or if you're playing a deck like this that's a bit of a brew. There's going to be games where you make no relevant decisions and die because you surveilled after you keeping your 2-lander and you missed your 3rd land. It's just how Magic goes. There isn't some easy formula that automatically goes, do these things and you win 80% of your games. Like, this is a game where, like, the best people in the world are happy to win 65% of the time. And I think Notion Rain is pretty terrible. Nothing about this format says I want to play a card draw spell that, like, deals damage to me. That does not sound very pleasant. Narset is card advantage that gains you life occasionally against aggro decks, so it's still, like, okay game 1, and is also a very powerful hate card against Esper control. I think I want to just kill Tricky Dick here. He's got more power. Yes, tournament winners are on. Anyone that does well at any large tournament got lucky to do so. And that's not to downplay anybody's experience or their quality of play. It's just a fact, right? You know, like, if the best players in the world over large sample sizes have a 65% win rate, a person who won a given tournament probably had an 80+% win rate in that tournament to win it. So, like, if your average is 65 and you won 80% to win your tournament, you're probably running well. Unfortunate that we don't have a removal spell to cast this turn. That's probably, like, the pivotal turn that means we're gonna die here. If they don't have a counterspell and I hit a Ritual of Soot, we could be okay here. But the fact that I wasn't able to kill this when they tapped out for it's a really big deal. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and cast Chemister's Insight because our only out here is Ritual of Soot, so I'd like to give myself the best chance to draw it. This is unfortunately not an aggro matchup we're into the God-Eternal. This is good. With these 5 easy tips the MPL players won't tell you will make you a pro. Yep. Anybody trying to sell you on the get rich quick stuff when it comes to Magic stuff, they're just generating clickbait, lying to you. There aren't things that let you skip past the work. This card's probably not good enough a lot of the time. I'll leave 1 in. It's a little expensive. I think Liliana is better than Ugin for the same reason as against mono white. You want to just, like, take 2 things off the table. Hey, DK Grack, thank you for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Not a big fan of Negate in this matchup. It's a little expensive. A lot of times you're, like, negating 1 mana things, which means you're losing tempo, trading your 2 mana for their 1 mana. Nah, I think keeping Narset for Obsession is probably not a very good idea. I think if they have Obsession going, they're probably just going to attack and kill my Narset, and she's not going to have done much. Rather have cards that play to the board, or like Chemister's Insight that are instant speed. Allow me a little bit more flexibility. Yeah, the opponent had a very aggressive start, and I drew cards that were good against control and not good against aggro. Again, that's just like how decks like this work sometimes. Sometimes your answers don't line up well into their threats and you die because of it. Other times you play Thief of Sanity on 3 and you get to kill them, and it's great. Now, I know I didn't board in my own negates, but I think I'm going to take that there. Oh, you know what? I have 2 Blast Zones in my deck too, huh? That card's pretty absurd in this matchup. What did my opponent keep? Apparently a very bad hand. I guess I killed their turn 1 play. I did kill their turn 1 play. Yeah, that's true. The decks that are best against mono blue tend to not be decks that are trying to interact with their creatures. The decks that are best against mono blue on average tend to be ones that are running them out of the game. This is great. Get to play have a turn 2 discard spell that'll hopefully punch a hole for a Ritual Soot on 4. Have an Objects of Cruelty somewhere in the middle. Alright, do they have the Nuts Opener? Because Narset's a planeswalker that sits on the table Equinox and gets attacked. And if my opponent has a Curious Obsession that I'm trying to turn off with a Narset, that means they can just attack my Narset. Alright, kill me. Maybe I should have up Nix's Cruelty last turn. I was probably greedy to not Cruelty on 3. Using Cruelty on 3 leaves me in a much better spot in the event that they draw a Negate or a Spell Pierce like that. Or a Wizard's Retort or whatever. It's a lot of fun, Snap Volt Snap. Yeah, I get to Contempt and a double Cruelty. Still leaves me in a pretty bad spot, though. Yep. Yeah, zone would have been better a turn earlier. I think I shouldn't have been greedy with my removal, and I should have played an untapped land on 3 and played Obnix's Cruelty on 3 into Soot on 4. Because if I would have played the Obnix's Cruelty on 3, it either would have resolved, saving me like 4 to 6 points of health that game, or they would have negated that, and then my Ritual of Soot would have resolved, killing everything. And I think either of those outcomes probably lead to me winning the match. Ended up being just a meme? No, it was always just a meme. There was no question in the middle where that deck was ever gonna end up. There's a reason I went straight into the unranked queue. It's never a doubt in my mind. I'm gonna bottom that. Just want to give myself the best chance to curve out this game. Got 2, 3, 4, 5 potentially. Both of these cards likely very good if they're playing Gruul, and if they're not playing Gruul, still reasonable in general. It'll be up tomorrow, Swift. My point, Zombie, was that what we had experienced there was not exclusive to the deck that we were playing. So changing decks doesn't change the outcome of what we have going on. And that's something you really need to be aware of when you're playing Magic, right? Like, I can't change decks and suddenly not get mana screwed with the deck that I'm playing. I can't change decks to guarantee that I'm gonna not flood out and die. That's just part of the game. And, like, talking about that's part of the game and being honest and upfront about sometimes I just lose and I can't have any control over it, it doesn't mean you're upset. It doesn't mean you're pissed off about Magic. It's just you're acknowledging the reality of the situation that you're in. So, when the Rekindling Phoenix trades with their Growth Chamber Guardian here, I'll get an egg, but the Phoenix goes to their graveyard, so I won't be able to get it back. And see, here we go. We got a free game to make up for the fact that we had some games that we lost where there couldn't even do anything about. And that's one of the reasons why I prefer playing a deck like this that has Thief of Sanity in it, as opposed to a more hard control deck like Esper, being able to have that oops, I win button because my cards lined up well is very, very powerful and important. Having that little bit of balance out for you, basically. I don't think I want Moment of Craving. If they show me like their Azcanta Goblin deck, maybe, but I can also see maybe I just pull up here. You know what? After I killed them with Thief of Sanity there, they're probably going to leave like their Shocks and Lightning Strikes in. And if I cut the Thieves of Sanity Shocks and Lightning Strikes, they're actually pretty bad against me, right? And I just like plan to win with this top end here. Let's give that a try on the draw. Yeah, I decided to commence the endgame for a third copy of Enter the God-Eternals and a fourth Chemister's Insight in the main. That's a fantastic draw here. Go 2, 3, 4 here, hopefully. Or even 2, 3, 4. I mean, it's much easier to tell yourself, T-Dub, that the results are stacked against you than it is to say, hey, maybe I'm not very good at this and I need to get better, right? Like, Magic is the type of game where it's very easy to protect your own ego from feeling hurt, because it's always possible to write off a loss as it was anyone's fault other than my own. And one of the things that does make it hard to get better at Magic is like balancing out those games where it's like, well, I kept a hand on 2 lands, I surveilled and I missed, there was nothing I could do, from the games where like I missequenced my land on turn 3, or like the mono blue game where I didn't Nixilis Cruelty on the right turn, so I lost because of that. You can do that with anything though, to a degree. It's possible to have that happen with Magic more than other games, I feel like, because of the variance by design that Magic has built into it. So I'm gambling on hitting a land here, which is maybe bad, because I can't hit a land today to save my life. Like, it's possible I should have, like, scorned here, and then taken 2 less, and then I could untap in Cruelty after I miss, but
only punish you if they catch you.
Alright, one more shot. Satan's Deck Cheese with the 2-3 sub. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. What's our land count rate? We're on the play. I've got 3 lands. I've got a Thought Erasure on 2. I'm going to keep this. Enter the God-Eternals is a pretty incredible catch-up card. The Thought Erasure is hopefully going to help us find either a removal spell or a 4th land. And then once we hit the 4th land, the Chemister's Insight will drag us to the God-Eternals here, hopefully. Their start is really good.
You call it anarchy. Me, only a
I like to draw Obnix's, whatever it's called this turn, ideally. And that's, this is the story of an interactive deck, right? Like last game, we were dead if we didn't draw Ritual of Soot, and this game we've drawn Ritual of Soot, and it just doesn't really do much, right?
I bow to no one. Oh, I wish you could see your face when I'm beating you.
So I'm taking 10, 12 here, down to 6. Enter the God-Eternal is going to put me back up to 10. And it'll keep the elf down. If they don't rip another hasty threat here, they have Lava Coil in against me. That's brutal. Oh, Tybalt. That's rude.
Nothing disgusts me more than law and order.
Alright, well, at least they missed 2 points of damage here. I think that kills me, though, right? So I can't gain any more life. If I could gain life here, I could Contempt the Phoenix, go up to 7, and then enter the God-Eternals the following turn. But now I do this, and then I stay here, and then the demon puts me to 1. Yeah, and then we die to the Tybalt tokens, dealing damage to us when they die. It's like we lost 6 life gain from the Tybalt. Hey, just lucky. Thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yep. Yeah, if you contempt Tybalt, you do gain life. Yeah, Tybalt's great. There's a reason why there's 2 copies in the what the opponent's playing looks relatively close to the green-red deck we were playing before this one, or 2 decks before this one. You're not wrong, McDucks. Being completely divorced from MTG Finance is truly, truly refreshing. Op's not really powerful card selection, Chalky. Op doesn't really help fix the wrong half problem. Opt gives you more consistency to find your 4-ofs more often. It really doesn't prevent you from, like, having the wrong things. It's not... Op's not Ponder. Op's not Brainstorm. Well, we were 1 match win away from... We were 1 match win from Mythic when we started with the... When we... at one point with this deck. We started this deck 2 match wins away from Mythic, and now we're 6, 5, something like that. Alright, let's survive to cast these cards, shall we? You know what? Because I have this other Thought Erasure, I wonder if I'm supposed to take the Shock there, so that way they can't triple 1-mana spell me, so my other Thought Erasure gets to take a card. Yeah, because now they get to triple 1-mana spell me, and this other Thought Erasure doesn't take anything. So Moment of Craving is the best draw in our deck. Any Vraskas, any other 2-mana spells, Tyrant, Scorn would be another decent follow-up. We need to hit like a Contempt or something like that, though, in order to do something.
There are so many. Meditate and prepare.
Am I dead? Never not dead. So, like, and again, like, people talking about, like, trying to put a bunch of card selections, like, you're talking about the wrong half problem, it just doesn't change. That's just something that's part of the game. Like, accept the things you cannot change and move along with your life. Like, these games where I'm dying because of the wrong half problem, like, think about if all of the sudden, instead of playing cards that interact with my opponent's board, I'm, like, taking early turns off to cast Discovery. Like, the part where the wrong half problem is killing me dead is the most is against these aggressive decks, right? And, like, the aggressive decks don't give you time to cast cards like Opt and Discovery without losing the game. Correct. Mono red on exactly 3 lands. Correct. Yeah, that's why aggressive decks, that's why decks that are interactive have to be so much more powerful than aggressive decks on average, because aggressive decks don't have that wrong half problem, right? If all of their cards are just focused on efficiently ending the game, there's not room for them to draw a wrong half. Yeah, Ugin's probably better than Thief. I agree with you that Thief's not very good. My Thief should probably be 2 Ugins, 2 Lilianas. Or even 3 in 1. Just because killing Experimental Frenzy makes Ugin very good. Correct, yeah. The only wrong half problem in the aggressive deck is not having the right mix of lands and spells. So I don't have Search for Azcanta the 75. That could maybe be a reasonable card. That definitely helps smooth a little bit. It's a great draw. Notably, playing Search for Azcanta ourselves makes our Spyglasses a little bit worse post-sideboard, which is a semi-real concern. It's also very possible I just want 4 of this card post-board in this matchup. It's, like, pretty close to unbeatable. And, like, I don't gain the life here from this, but I still get a 4/4. So, like, it was like I gained 3 there still, right? Because they spent a Lightning Strike. Negate means we're covered in the event of Frenzy, which is nice. Don't want to just, like, check off all the boxes. I mean, Zombie, I told you what you did. You told me my deck was shit and I needed to change it after we, like, missed our 4th land drop after keeping 2 and then surveilling 1. Like, that's just, that happens in every deck. I do think that Thief of Sanity, your literal words were change decks to something that can get you to Mythic, which implies that the deck we're currently playing can't get us to Mythic, which implies you didn't. That's actually, I can click on your username and click your messages. Your exact message was switch to something that will get you to Mythic ? Which implies the deck we're playing can't get us to Mythic, right? What's the other implication outside of this deck can't get you to Mythic from the question switch to something that will get you to Mythic? I'm willing to accept that I might be misunderstanding what you said. What's the other implication of that? This hand is, it's okay. It has Blast Zone in it. I've got double removal here. The fact that I don't have any Moment of Craving or Enter the God-Eternal is a little bit troubling, but I have all of my colors, so I think I'm going to go ahead and keep. No one drop is great for us here. I'm gonna go ahead and cast down rather than Tyrant Scorn, I think, because this can like bounce my Kefnet later potentially. That's pretty punishing for my sequencing. All right, at least we get to gobble here. Glad we burned the moment ASAP.
My friend is here to help your pain.
Chemister's Insight's not a terrible pickup, although I might wanna, definitely wanna Scorn. Say I might wanna Scorn this turn, definitely wanna Scorn that. So, I think I'm gonna go ahead and Contempt Tybalt here, and then I'm gonna get the Liliana going. Yeah, the Legion War Boss interaction is still bugged. Alright, so need enter the God-Eternals here. Probably dead. I guess I have a turn or two to draw it, huh? Nope, drawing it this turn's ideal, though. That's definitely the ideals. And that right there is why we keep milling ourselves with Enter the God-Eternals. Oh, you know, maybe I'm supposed to clear these other tokens out there because they, this is a 1 that could die to this, but they're likely to stop attacking this turn, right? Let's do this. I guess this lets me not take a damage from one of these, huh? Which is sweet.
Rise and shine.
That was my wife as she was walking out of the room, troll. Hey, Daryl Fish, thanks for the tip. Haven't been able to catch the stream much since I started my new job. I had never really appreciated the streams until I had lots of time to watch yours. Hope the new set has been good to you. It's been a good time. Thanks for the support. Hope you're having a good one. All right, pretty safely can ditch the backup Liliana here, I think. Negate's an excellent draw.
What a good, mindless minion.
Wonderful to see them. They have to attack here, right? Otherwise this goes off. And we're still at like 12, so we should be plenty fine.
How uncivilized.
Maybe it's more right to do that.
Of the multiverse obeys me.
To try and, like, find another negate. I don't know. Probably a 6 and 1.5 dozen of the other. All roads lead to Rome here. Alright, Liliana, what's your ultimate look like?
Oh, I bet you wish you had nothing to lose.
The problem is you're not always quick enough to switch to full control mode, Dolphin. I mean, they probably just wanted to see the animation, too. A lot of the ultimates have, like, kind of weak animations. Just because, like, you really don't get to use them that often. So, like, I guess it kind of makes sense not to spend a lot of resources on getting to them. Do I want Search for Azcanta in this deck? I kind of felt like I wanted more 2s on my curve. The Narsets might be too much in the main. I don't know. I guess. Yeah, they've been hit or miss. I think I want them in the 75, but maybe Search is just better. Search is like extended card advantage, like it keeps going longer and longer. Is it crazy to just max on God-Eternals? This is Dimir control. Mid-range control, whatever you want to call it, somewhere in the middle. I could also see just maxing on Contempt being reasonable. Having ways to kill Tibalt seems pretty important. There's a lot of just, like, miscellaneous Planeswalker decks running around. And, like, this card's a little bit better than God-Eternals against control. This card, like, really dumpsters aggro, which is sweet. Cut lands. If we max on God-Eternals, we have 15 cards that are useless against Esper. I don't think that's true. If we max on God-Eternals, one, this card's not 100% dead against Esper, right? Like, you could target your own thing and then get a thing. I don't think the cantrips are very good in the format. If I max on this, I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dead cards against Esper game 1. This, and this, right? Scorn is mostly dead, that's fair. Picking up Thief is less good than picking up Frilled Mystic. I feel like I wouldn't mind a 4th enter in the 75. The card's like... it feels like against like red and white aggro, it's just like the card you want to draw every turn. Yeah, we only had 2 Spyglass this sec. So like right now, I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8... 9, 10 cards I can bring in against control, and I want to cut 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can cut all but 1 Scorn. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Let's try this. Play 1 or 2 more before we wrap things up. Is cast down just inferior Tyrant Scorn? I mean, in Magic, you usually don't have strictly direct comparisons like that. Like, obviously, those cards aren't a better or worse comparison. Like, they're just different. I think in the place the format is right now, Tyrant Scorn tends to be better than cast down on average. And a big part of that is the flexibility that Tyrant Scorns offer. While it's not the primary use of it, the fact that Tyrant Scorn can be used to bounce one of my threats in response to an opposing removal spell or sweeper is useful. It means that this card isn't just fully dead against a control deck like Cast Down would be. Basic Forest Steamkin. Alright, you have my attention. I don't really Frenzied Mage. Yeah, it's my favorite Thief of Sanity deck right now, for sure. I could definitely say that's the case. Yeah, I also agree with that. Many of the threats that Scorn doesn't hit, Cast Down also doesn't hit because they're legendary. So I get to Contempt this here, and then next turn I get to Thought Erasure plus Thief of Sanity. So I don't think Scorn is good in Modern Spoonie, and the reason for that is in Modern we get to play Fatal Push. Well, ain't that the best draw on our deck at most points in time? And the reason why you play Cast Down would want to play Cast Down as opposed to Tyrant Scorn in Modern is because Fatal Push misses. Cast Down covers things that Fatal Push misses, basically. Ugh. Alright, so knowing they have a Lightning Strike here means that I don't want to play the Thief, so we're just going to Chemisters here. Hoping to find another copy of Contempt or an Ugin. We target ourselves with the mill copy of God Eternals because of this. Because we have Chemister's Insight in our deck that we could draw into. Yeah, I think White Splash Blue Aggro is very good. Little Teferi is absurd in this format.
Oh, it's you burning.
Yeah, it's a very, new player natural gut instinct that milling cards off the top of your library is bad. When in reality, especially when you have things like Chemister's Insight in your deck, it tends to give you an additional resource, basically. Oh. Yeah, we're pretty dead. Hey, Dallas, thanks for the 4 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. So, they had Legion War Boss in their main deck, so Moment of Craving's probably fine here. Probably don't want Thief of Sanity. Probably want Ritual of Soot left around to clean up Legion War Boss. Leaves me these 4 as win conditions, or these 3 as win conditions. Seems fine. What's my all-time favorite deck? Probably Temur Flash, circa RTR. Yeva, Nature's Herald, and Wolfear Avenger are like my spirit animals. Yeah, I think a lot of it is because, especially with Arena, like new players coming in from Hearthstone, like milling is really good / bad in Hearthstone depending on which side of it you're on, just because Hearthstone games you tend to draw your entire deck in a lot of games. this is fine. Like, not amazing, but fine. I ideally like a cheaper removal spell in here, but like, Thought Erasure could help us break up the early curve to kind of bridge the gap till we get to Contempt on 4. Kiki Court is sad. Kiki Court knows what it did. This card looks great in foil, by the way. Look at him. Look at him coming in. Come on to me. You don't do enough damage, God-Eternals. Yeah, this deck should probably almost certainly be playing 4 of this card. It's just so important right now. They're like rarely upset to like have kill target planeswalker. Look at the convenient number on that one, huh? Seems pretty decent. RTR Standard just had a lot of good ones in it, Kenny. Oh no! Oh no! Get cheeky, get punished. Well, I mean, I'm glad. I guess I'm glad that gave it minus power. That's fine. I have a 4/4 that blocks. I have an Ugin. We'll be okay. We'll be okay. I guess the 4/4 kind of blocks. I'm actually going to no block because they could kill it with the activation, right?
Do not defy the designs of an elder dragon.
I could Ugin and kill this, but the problem with that is then they just, like, pick up a land and drop one on Ugin. And if they want to spend 3 lands to kill Ugin, I think I'm pretty okay with that exchange. It's going to cost them a lot of mana to do so.
Truth lies beyond vision.
Commander game by casting Consecrated Sphinx into Windfall with Jason play. Seems decent. And, like, we could see them mow down this Ugin with this Living Twister, but then, like, the card advantage from my Chemister Insights is going to easily overwhelm them in the face of how many lands they're going to have left. They have Shock in their deck. Okay, that makes sense, because we showed them Thief of Sanity, right?
Comes for us all.
I could, like, enter and attack for 8 here. That, the timing on that Ob Nixilis Cruelty really biting me. Do I want Dreadhorde General? Is she better than anything I'm currently doing? I don't think so. Is her down tick just better than Ugin's? They have Planeswalkers, which probably means Ugin is better. I'm just gonna run it back. Yeah, Liliana is not stellar against Phoenix. It gives him an easy thing to sacrifice. This seems like not amazing, but it's fine. They have like, this stops their most aggressive play, which is turn 3 Legion War Boss. I'm gonna put a stop on their main phase, that way if they play Legion War Boss, they don't get got. They could have. They would just recognize that we were in garbage time, and that's why I was like playing into their onboard trick.
In a blade of grass.
So you're correct with what Living Twister does. I have this and this, so I'm thinking I don't need this restart button, especially after getting rid of a Legion War Boss here. Slackum, thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Hope life's treating you well.
You fight like a city brat.
Thanks for keeping me employed here. I do want to try and curve out lands into this ideally. They don't give me anything, and they don't do anything too. If they don't play anything too scary this turn, we'll probably just Chemister's Insight to try and hit our land drop. Which is another reason to ditch the Soot, because it gives me a better chance to find lands.
Starting over is the
They have Vivian going here, who, like, draws them some cards, but she only draws a card every 3rd turn, right? She has to go, like, up, up, down. Yeah, Slack. We got beat up against Mono Blue, but we didn't see our Blast Zones. The card's definitely very good there. Uh-oh. Behold. 26 lands later. Alright. I know when I'm getting beat up, and I'm going to sign off for the night. Thanks everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. Everyone had a fantastic Wednesday. Remember, if you want to see more content from myself, you are welcome to check out my website and my YouTube channel. Absolutely everything I stream gets archived in both of those places. If you want to stay here on Twitch, I'm going to find someone streaming some Standard Constructed right now to send you on over there. I will be back by 8 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. We'll do a Magic the Gathering Online League to kick things off, and then we'll roll right on into playing a bunch more Standard here in Arena. So thanks everyone for watching, and I'll catch you tomorrow, hopefully. Is anybody playing Constructed? Here's infinite people playing this Twitch Rivals thing. Nah, I got nothing. You gotta go find your own Constructed player. I'm just gonna host Caleb. Everybody have a good one.